I'm going to be real honest with you guys as we start off with this and say that I am feeling very overwhelmed. That was 40 minutes of extremely jam-packed announcements, from a new Zelda being made, teases of tons of indie stuff, ports of games I couldn't even imagine coming to the Switch, and of course, giant new reveals of games that are coming out this freaking year. But what I'm going to do is just center myself on the biggest, amazing stuff that really blew my mind the most. That way I can just try and keep myself centered. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and I just finished watching the E3 press conference of Nintendo. Obviously, they like to do their little Nintendo Directs, which are ultra centered and very focused, and this one was basically just a celebration of 2019 with some big teases of what's coming in 2020. Now, the first thing I want to get into will just be the briefest part, which is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. At this point, I know a lot of people are starting to go, why are they still talking about this game? And it's because, honestly, this is actually the highest selling fighting game of all time now. So obviously they're trying to support it with downloadable content. We got reveals of not one, but two separate major fighters joining the game. We're about to get the heroes from Dragon Quest and also Banjo-Kazooie. Yes, that's right, the Bird Bear themselves are going to be showing up to kick some butt. Now that was a good thing to start with, and I'm glad that they just kind of teased it, showed us some moves, and moved on. Now I really want to talk very heavily about Luigi's Mansion 3. When we first saw the logo or the early teases of it, I was excited, but I wasn't really sure what we were going to be getting. I really thought that Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon wasn't super fun. I actually beat it this year, and it was just, it stopped and starts so much. It looks like they're trying to very much reopen things up when it comes to Luigi's Mansion 3. This time we have an entire giant hotel, which is ultra spooky, dedicated to ourselves. We're going to get to go through and try and capture all the different spirits and use a lot of different new moves that were introduced here. They basically revealed new ways to smash the spirits around, capture stuff, special moves that Luigi himself could use, but most importantly, they revealed a lot about co-op. So apparently, there are going to be separate modes of co-op in Luigi's Mansion 2, where you can either have Gooigi help you in the main story and do special abilities that Luigi doesn't have, like being able to liquefy yourself and go through bars, or maybe just to squish yourself flat and go under a door or whatever. But additionally, there is a separate online mode where you're going to be competing through just a bunch of floors of a hotel or a big old spooky tower with a bunch of people, maybe like 4 to 6 player multiplayer, all trying to work together and survive as long as possible. That sounds epic, and I love it. Now let's move on to some of the ports. So they decided to reveal some cool stuff here and there, but the number one thing that liquefied my brain is Witcher 3 on Switch is real. Now there's been tons of leaks and stuff pointing at this for a while, so I guess I'm not surprised, but I am very happy about it. Witcher 3 is a masterpiece. It is so good, and now it's going to be coming to Switch. And personally, I actually think that these screenshots make it look pretty decent. It's not as much of a graphical downgrade as I might have imagined. It's certainly going to be a step down, but it's not like I'm going to be stuck playing it on a toaster. It is a pretty adequate version, just shrunk down. Another port we got, and definitely the thing that confused me when we saw it, is Panzer Dragoon is coming back. Yeah, Panzer Dragoon, the plane shooting game where you actually fly along as a dragon and shoot stuff, is somehow returning. This is one of the most obscure Sega series ever, so seeing it just randomly pop up during a Nintendo Direct, I was just so lost. I don't know why they're doing it, but I'm so glad they are. Now, next up, we gotta talk about Link's Awakening. So as I'm sure most of you know by now, Link's Awakening is a very underrated but amazing part of the Zelda franchise. What always made it very different in my opinion was the fact that obviously it was the first one on a Game Boy, but additionally, I like the fact that it had so many cutscenes, so many interesting elements, and honestly, a very sad tone to it. No joke, this is my second favorite Zelda ever made, and now we got a chance to see loads more gameplay in it. I'm still a little bit mixed when it comes to the art style. I mean, I try and be very, very brutally honest with you guys. I still think that it's weird that it has such a claymation anime style to its aesthetic. I think when I start playing it, I won't even notice, but just looking at screenshots, it still is taking me a while to get over that. I mean, just because the original version had such a cool sprite, that now, seeing this, it's just going to take me a bit to adapt, but seeing it, it definitely has everything from the original game. It shows the 2D parts, fishing mini-games, it's got the really quirky bosses. I mean, it is, to its very core, Link's Awakening, and for that, I absolutely love it. But additionally, it has a new mode that I am just so impressed that they actually managed to put in there, which appears to be a bite-sized version of Zelda Maker. So ever since we got Mario Maker 1 and 2, there's been a bunch of people trying to speculate as to if it would be even possible to do a Zelda Maker, a dungeon creating game with Link. Now, it looks like this is just going to be a tiny mode where we basically get different tiles and put them onto predetermined map sizes, but even still, this is very, very interesting, and I think that it's probably a small experiment by Nintendo to see how much people can use it, how many people are actually able to use these tools, and how many people will really be enjoying it. I think that this is perhaps opening up the door to a full-blown Zelda Maker coming out sometime in the next year or so. Speaking of Zelda though, at the end of this, they teased something that has been sort of circling around but we weren't sure about, which is that there have been some leaks that have been hinting that there's some sort of new Zelda in development, but the rumor was that it was essentially going to be like Majora's Mask. It was going to be built on an existing engine to try and get it out as quick as possible. Not in a bad way, but in fact, when you don't have to worry about trying to program physics or draw new characters, you get more chances to create really crazy dungeons. I mean, that's part of the reason I love Majora's Mask so much, is that it feels like a really creepy remix of Ocarina of Time. Now, this new project, they only showed a super tiny and really, really bizarre cutscene for it, but it does seem like something that is very much in deep dive. I think that they're probably pretty far along in development, just pure speculation. Obviously, we have no leaks. We just saw this thing right here, but purely on speculation, I do think that they're going to try and have this out next year. I think that what they're trying to do is make it where every year or every other year we're having a Zelda. This year, obviously, we're having Link's Awakening remake. Next year, it would be very sweet to have some sort of new, spookier version of Link's Awakening Breath of the Wild. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. They also gave us a chance to see even more of Cadence of Hyrule. They gave us a bigger look at Fire Emblem, which is coming out very soon. But the thing that I think perhaps just kind of stunned me because I didn't know I want to see it was they did a very big reveal and showed a lot of details about Animal Crossing Switch, which appears to be called Welcome to Animal Crossing. It's going to take place on an island this time. So really what I think is going to happen is, instead of getting to start out in an established city or starting off as the mayor or whatever, this time around, you're literally starting in a tent on a deserted island and starting out by planting seeds, chopping down trees, gathering raw minerals, and actually building your property from scratch. And maybe as you establish it, more people come to the island and establish themselves as well. So you get to be pretty much the god of your own little world. And this seems so cute and so quirky. In the trailer, they talk about cell phones and stuff, and they actually show a bunch of people towards the end all moving into this little town, and that seems great. It was delayed though, so it's coming out March 2020 now, but personally, I'm totally fine with that. Now that they've shown us a bunch of the different stuff that they're doing this year, I'm totally cool having to wait a little bit longer for Animal Crossing, especially because some of the other stuff they showed here was ultra cool. Like, I'm very much a fan of the fact that they're showing that Dragon Quest XI coming to Switch is so different. They showed us a bunch of new stuff about Cadence of Hyrule, Daemon X Machina. They gave us new gameplay on that. But the real star of the show that I think is really impressing me the most as I sit here and think about it is Astral Chain. So after the initial reveal of it, it was one of those things that I was kind of like, okay, that'll be fun. It's Platinum Games. I'm sure it's legit. Now that I've seen more of it, this may be one of my most hyped games of the year. We now know that what's happening is, within this universe, there are interdimensional creatures that are invading, and the people are trying to fight them off by using some sort of thing called the Astral Chain that lets them weaken and tether themselves to the invading demons, or at least that's what it looks like. So by fighting along through the game, you really get new ways of trying to customize your loadout and how you level up and how you fight. Maybe you can chain yourself to different demons, or maybe you can chain yourself to bosses. We really still don't know that much, but it is coming out here in the next couple of months, so I'm definitely going to be playing it. It was a very impressive presentation. I guess the only thing I do wish is that we'd seen a little bit more gameplay from a couple of these games, and also I am a little bit sad that we didn't see the rumored Nintendo Switch Mini. There were some people that were kind of talking about the fact that we may see it. I fully believe that the Switch Mini exists, and I do believe that it's coming this year, so I was hoping that we'd see at least a tease of it, but I'm fine. I'm totally willing to wait. What did you think of the Nintendo Switch reveal, of everything at this Nintendo Direct? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Is that a plane flying over my house? Of course it is. Do me a favor, give this video a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. Man, I am very happy about that Panzer Dragoon reveal. That was very cool. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.